As someone who does a lot of characters with outlandish skin tones, stuck, and especially with the Rise of Steven Universe and Undertale, I'm often asked about how to best do body paint. I already made a time lapse of how I get into my Dirk troll makeup. You can find it here, or like here, maybe. And even though that's by no means the full tutorial, I do think it shows pretty well the gist of things. If you want to get anything else painted, however, that's kind of a different game. Of course, you can still use regular body paint, but matter of fact is that not only is it harder to properly cover your arms and shoulders and tummy, etc., but you also rub off a lot more when it comes to, you know, areas that's not your face. Unless, I guess, you go around rubbing your face at people at cons, which you probably shouldn't be doing that. So a better alternative to, you know, water-based paint or grease-based paint on your arms and legs, etc., would be something like Armsocks or tights, or what I'm going to talk about, PAX. PAX is a paint that's made out of pros-aide, which is body adhesive, and Liquitex acrylic paint. I have been told that this is used within the industry, but I have not actually had this confirmed from anyone who worked with theater or movies. PAX is very useful for flat surfaces like, you know, arms, tummy, shoulders, etc., but it's not that great for joint areas like fingers or elbows. I use PAX for 3 reasons, the main one being that it doesn't rub off at all. Once this paint is on your skin, it's going to stay on your skin until you want it well and removed. I will describe it kind of like applying like a second skin, and when you powder it, it kind of becomes like powder latex. It's not kind of tacky like you will have with grease paint, where you will kind of sweat and you will have to repowder it. Instead, PAX pretty much just stays dry once you have actually powdered it. This also leads me to the second reason. If you're at a 3-day con and you're going to cosplay a body painted character for the first 2 days, then you can actually apply the paints on the first day and then keep it on your arms for the second day as well. You might have to do some touch-ups, but in general it's fine. You won't like have to repaint your entire arm Saturday morning. The third pro is that you can easily mix paints to get a perfect shade to match with like whatever paint you bought before. If you kind of have some body paint on body paint thing going on, etc., you can customize the color of your PAX pretty much with whatever, like as long as there is acrylic paint for it, you can customize it perfectly. You don't have to struggle finding the perfect pair of tights, etc. Q Straw Man. Hold on, isn't acrylic paint like toxic to your skin? Well, yeah. Even paints that do claim to be non-toxic only mean that in the sense that if you use it like it is intended to, it won't be toxic for you. Like if you paint something and you get some on your hand, or if you get some like in your mouth, then no, it won't kill you. But that doesn't mean like it's healthy to just paint all of your arm or like eat a full bottle of acrylic paint. You know what I'm saying? You should never use paint that's not meant to go on your skin, at least not straight onto it. I've seen people recommend like fabric paint instead of PAX, and just don't do that. I don't care how much it says on the bottle that it's non-toxic. Don't do that. Side note, this also goes for hairspray. Stop sealing your makeup with hairspray, you goddamn walnuts. With that said, the reason that PAX is generally considered to be body safe is that the pros-aide binds the acrylic paints and keeps it from like getting into your body. Of course you can still like take this with a grain of salt, but I have never met anyone who actually had any problems with PAX. Just don't apply it to your face and you'll be fine. I will now zoom you in and show you what you need to do to make and apply PAX body paint. So, apologies about my pretty cluttered desk. I have a lot of cosplay work in progress stuff going on here, such as my new air fins. I might make a tutorial on those later. Anyway, what you need to make, apply and remove PAX is this. First you have pros-aide. Let's see if I can get this to focus. There's a few different formulas. I just used the original. This is a 100ml bottle, which costs $40 on Amazon. It's more than I paid for it, but for reference you end up with about twice the product. And you'll only use about 4 milliliters for one arm. So, yeah. This one's lasted me since like early 2013 and I still got like plenty left of it. I also want to mention that there is a cleansing oil. I don't really find it worth the money. I'll go through exactly how I clean my pros-aide off, my PAX off. But yeah, I'll just say it right now that I don't think this is worth the money. You will also need Liquitex acrylic paint in the colors that you need to either paint straight up or to mix to the color that you need. This one is just for show. I have already mixed mine and I don't really have any need to mix more right now, so yeah. But this is what they tend to look like. You don't need a huge bottle like I have here, I've just used them for a lot of things. Liquitex is pretty awesome in general. So yeah, this is what you should be looking for. You also want a 1 or more travel-sized bottles. It makes your life way easier when it comes to PAX. I don't have it here, but you will also need a mixing tray, as well as a paintbrush to mix the paint, and the pros-aide that you're not terribly afraid of ruining. And the same also goes for your application tools. You will need cheap sponges and a cheap brush for the powder. As you can see, this one is like on the edge, kind of. I don't think I'll be able to use it for much longer. The hairs are coming out and everything. Anyway, I got this off H&M, but you can also use like cheap synthetic brushes that you find in like dollar stores, etc. It doesn't really matter because it's just about getting the powder onto your paint. I have heard people applying the paint with brushes as well, but I wouldn't really recommend it. I just don't think it gets even enough, and anyway, sponges are just so much cheaper. You will also need some sort of baby powder or translucent powder. I tend to favor baby powder because I need so much of it and it's so much cheaper. I also like the smell of this, so, you know. Cheap heavy-duty body lotion. You will need this both for application and for removal. You will be using a lot of it, so don't waste your money. Just, you know, get something that works from the dollar store. Same with the razor. You might want something a bit better for like shaving hair before you apply it, but for removal, yeah, you pretty much ruin this one too. PAX is not too kind to your tools, so there's no need to invest in anything great. The first thing you want to do is to mix your paint. I'm not going to do this again because I already have the paint I need. I don't really feel like making a whole new batch. Get some of your body paint and mix up the color to match it perfectly on like a mixing tray or something, and then pour it into the bottle halfway up, and then fill the rest of the bottle with pros-aide, and then you can just mix it in the bottle. That way you don't have to worry about ratios. The general ratio you want is a simple 1:1. You can like use kind of varied ratios. More acrylic paint makes the paint easier to remove, while more pros-aide will make it, you know, hold on for longer. More pros-aide will also make the paint more flexible. Play around, see what works for you. Before application, I suggest you shave any parts that you're planning on painting. Not only does it look a lot better, and this is true for all body paint by the way, if you're using body paint then please shave the area that you're painting. It will look a billion times better. But it's also for convenience and also for your own sanity, because paint will pretty much tear your hairs out if you try and remove it when you have hair underneath, and you don't want that. It hurts like a... I don't even know what to tell you. Just shave beforehand. I would also suggest applying some body lotion onto the area that you want to paint, because it will be kind of harsh on the skin, and keeping it moistured will make the process easier. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't get this thing up. I should have done this like before. Now my hands are all like with lotion. The application is pretty straightforward. Just, you know, get some paint onto your sponge, or, you know, straight onto the skin. I would recommend applying the paint in smaller areas and powder them as you go, especially if you do not have someone to help you while painting. Some paints might require a second layer, and this is especially true for white paint, I notice. This is pretty white, but you know, it could get more opaque. So, you know, just stamping it on with your sponge, because otherwise you will get lines, and you kind of still do. While using this, I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, so applying in smaller areas, and this is especially important for when you go like here or in your elbow crease, because what happens is that you close your elbow like this and the paint sticks together, and you pull it back and you will have small tears in the paint. To save your brush as much paint as possible, I would suggest, you know, just dousing it in powder and then tapping it onto the paint instead of taking the brush straight to the paint. So you tap it on and then you just kind of brush it out and brush it onto the paint. That way you get much less like brush hairs sticking into the paint, and you just get a better powdering all over. For the record, I also use this method for when I paint my face, but I think it's especially important when it comes to PAX. Another thing I will suggest you do is that you actually mark out, like beforehand, where you need to apply the paint, and then do it on your underwear. because if there's one thing I have learned, it's that wet PAX does not come off fabric. Like, it doesn't happen. So yeah, to save your cosplay, just take it off, like mark out with eyeliner pencil or something where you need to paint, take it off and then paint yourself in your underwear. When the PAX is dry, it will be like pretty much as smooth as a baby butt. It's not going away, it's not rubbing off at all. I can pretty much claw at it and yeah, it stays put. As you can see with this, it does kind of need a second coat. You can also see that there is some lines here because I wasn't quite as careful as I should have been when it came to, you know, sponging it on. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Now, it's the end of the convention day, and you had a lot of fun, but you're kind of tired of like being blue or purple or whatever, and you're not feeling like showing up to work like this, so you'll have to take it off. And this is like the main problem I hear a lot of people have with PAX, that it's kind of a battle to get it off your skin. When I say that it stays put, that's the truth right there. You're not just going to like wash your arms and it will be over. With that said, I don't actually think it's all that hard to remove. Once you get the technique down, it's really not any harder than, you know, removing grease paint. Again, there exists a pros-aide remover. I'm not sure like how well it works on just clean pros-aide, but in my experience it just doesn't hold up for like my arms covered in PAX. So yeah, I'd suggest you skip this. With that said, it has kind of worked out with I've like doused a towel in it and scrubbed it off. But yeah, my suggestion would be to just like lather the painted area in lotion. Like just douse it in lotion and then let it seep for a while. What I find very effective is to just use a razor and then just like start to shave in your PAX. As you can see, this makes like small holes appear in the PAX, and it just loosens up a bit. And once you got those, removing the rest of the paint will be a lot easier. And you can just use like warm water, or you can use more cream and just like keep shaving. And now I just got this on, so it's a lot easier to remove. But yeah, that's the technique I find the most effective. And this way you also won't have to tug at your skin as much, and that's another reason that why you shouldn't be using PAX on your face. And not only is your face a very joint area, so it won't stay put all that well, also it's kind of restricting your expressions. You got PAX on your face and you can't really emote as well, but also because it is kind of a paint remove and you don't want to tug on your sensitive face skin. I would mainly recommend PAX for conventions and like extreme photo shoots, like if you're planning on being body paint for a long time, or you're going to be running around in the forest, or you're going to like doing an underwater shoot, etc. It's really nice not to have to worry about like whether your paint is coming off or anything like that. You won't have to be afraid to hug people. You won't have to be afraid to just like brush past someone in a crowded corridor. It's also really nice for like cosplays that you do not want to wash. Say you got a cosplay for very fragile fabric and you just don't want to risk getting body paint on it. In that case, PAX is great because you can just you know, slap it on underneath and then you know it won't rub off. Like when I use dress shirts, I will use PAX on my neck to make sure that I don't get grey on, you know, on my fancy shirts. As I said, it's not great to use on your face. I would also not recommend using it on like your hands. I have a really hard time getting PAX to stick to my knuckles. You might get some use of like painting the back of your hand, but like the palm of your hands, don't even bother. It's not going to stay there. And I think that's all. I hope you find this tutorial useful. I had some people ask me about this pretty recently, so I thought, you know, why not? I haven't really seen any in-depth PAX tutorials, especially not mentioning like the razor trick, which again, the main problem I see people having with PAX is trying to remove it. Keep in mind that this is not the only way to do PAX. Different people will have different ratios, they will have different like special tips and tricks, they will have different methods of application, things work differently for them. This is just how I do, and it's worked great for me so far. If you like this and you would like to see more of what I do, you can check out my Tumblr or my Instagram. You can also follow me on YouTube, though I will be perfectly honest and say that I am not super active here and I'm not really prioritizing it. I think it's a lot of fun, but I'm not really going to make any promises of uploading once a week or anything like that. But if you did find this helpful, feel free to just give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Again, because I see a lot of people getting confused about this and trying to find methods that work, and I see a lot of people, you know, just greasing their paint off on everything and everyone, and I would like that to, you know, I have been doing this, like we as a Homestuck community have been doing this for 7 years now. And you think people would listen, but they don't, because we're Homestucks, and people don't really like to listen to Homestucks because, you know, we might have something good to say, but they don't want to believe that. Okay, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be like... I'm sorry, okay. Yeah, whatever, moving on. If you have any questions, just, you know, hit me up in the comments, whatever. Just for reference, because I live in Sweden, I had some Swedes ask about this. I bought my pros-aide at Maskspecialisten. I don't know, like, where else you can get it. But that's where I got mine, and it's been working out great for me. Again, I hope you liked this, whatever. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.